What's going on, guys? Kaoiji. So I'm very excited right now, and the reason I'm excited is because, and I had to take a minute to collect my thoughts here, right? Because of the NGS creator program. Now, this video was me coming to you as a content creator and also as somebody who I read all this, and I need you guys to understand that there are some things that come from this if you are going to apply, right? And you might be a new creator, you might just recently hit the requirements, maybe you're looking for this, looking at this video in the future. There are some things that you should understand here, and I'm going to go over that in this video. So first off, I'm excited. I applied. I'm okay with Sega using my likeness for me for advertising and stuff like that. I'm okay with it because ultimately, as much as I am a businessman, right, when it comes to my content, I enjoy the game and I want the game to continue to thrive, and I'm willing to take the L on certain things because I love the game. So and you're gonna understand why I say that as we go along. So first and foremost, let's talk about the actual requirements of the creator program. Now, the creator program, you need a minimum of 5 videos per month with an average of at least 2,000 views per video. You need a minimum of 10,000 total views per month. Now, this is either or, so it's either 5 videos that have at least 2,000 views per video or a minimum of 10,000 views per month. So it's either or. It does not have to be one or the other. So there are a couple content creators that they may get maybe 500 views per video, maybe 200, 300, but that I know would still 100% apply because of the second criteria here. Just to give it that as a thing that you guys should know. Although the question that I have when it comes to something like this is, does this include evergreen content? Because as of this moment, even though I applied based on the criteria that I meet the minimum requirement of 10,000 views per video per month. I still get that because some of my content is evergreen. So these are the things that I would like a little more clarification on. Does this include content that already exists? They mentioned something like that down here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's for, the months prior leading up till April, because they say that after the screening process ended, they'll review everything. And a little bit later, they're going to talk about how it's okay if you need to withdraw and why they'll remove you from the program. But anyway, these things will last until April 11th. It also goes to show that they will have openings for these schedules. So there will be certain criteria, certain moments where you can apply and then reapply. And they mentioned that a little bit later as well. So even if, let's say, 1 month you need to remove yourself because you're not going to be playing the game or you're not going to be able to make content for the game, you can still remove yourself and then apply at a later date. Or there's a lot of things that can happen here. Anyway, so the April official announcements will happen in late April, the reward distribution, and then in May of 2022, there will be an operation schedule announcement. There are a lot of cool things here. Mainly, I believe that they're talking about that would be the submissions for May. Now they're talking about what is the criteria for determining content that is offensive to third parties as stated in terms of use. They go over that. Basically, don't be an asshole. That's to the live ops team or any players of certain groups or anything of the sort. Just don't be an asshole. I think that's the easy way of putting that. Are there any other prohibited matters that we should be aware of? The copyright policy, the streaming guidelines. These are things that are very important for the most part. Most of the time, I don't see anybody, for me, as somebody who consumes content, I don't see anybody who breaks these rules, but it is something to be aware of just in case you're like, I'm confused, right? Can you monetize videos that you submit as an NGS official creator? They do allow you to do this on websites like YouTube, Twitch, more than likely Instagram and TikTok, for those of you guys who are into that. So you can monetize your content. It is still your content, right? Will you be accepted if you delete all of your videos violating the terms of use before applying? We cannot promise certification, but we'll confirm during the selection process. This is, I think, something that this is a cover their own ass kind of question. But anyway, I made other requirements, was not certified. Please let me know the reason. There is a possibility that there was a violation of terms of use. Please note that we cannot disclose the reason in detail. This is something that I would like them to consider, at least giving a vague understanding to the creator, because sometimes there will be times where creators will violate of terms of use or something because they're just ignorant. Maybe they're new, maybe they didn't read these things. So I'd like them to be able to go into more detail there. Are you currently an official creator? Can you have your certification removed? If you could withdraw at any time that you want, and that is something to keep in mind there. You were certified as an NGS creator last month, but you lost your certification this month. Basically, they're going to continue to look at the requirements on a month-by-month basis, and I'm hoping that this is something that they look to reconsider at some point, because it is very possible that, like I was saying before, you may not have created videos in, like, let's say May, but you meet the total view requirements in May because you have content that is evergreen. Right? You found inappropriate content in a video that is produced by NGS official creator. What should you do? This is something that for you, the viewer, should keep a mind of, that they'll look into the video. That if there's a problem, they'll take strict action. Usually they'll be like, hey, they're going to remove you from the program. They're going to cover their ass in that case. It's also covered in their creator rules here, but we'll go over the brief synopsis of a lot of this here going on in just a second. Are there any in-game settings that are optimized for video submissions? This is something that they're implementing on this next update for April 6th, which is a streamer mode, which basically is perfect. It's perfect for what we need it for. It's really easy. It's awesome. It's really cool. Anyway, that's something to keep in mind. Right? So they say by becoming an NGS certified creator, you agree to the following terms. This is something that every person, if you were a content creator, or maybe you're thinking about becoming a content creator because you love NGS so much, these are things that you should be aware of, even outside of Sega owned titles or anything of that sort. You should be understanding of FTC rules and regulations, the .com disclosures, all of that, because these are things that will help you in your career, that will prevent you from getting DMCA'd, banned, legal action done. Maybe you might have ruined a relationship with the company. These are things that you should 100% be aware of. Okay. Now, live streams, you have to disclose whenever you're sponsored or whenever you received free product, because you will also be receiving free items through this program. If you're uploading things, you have to be able to say, hey, Sega's sponsoring this video. Even social media posts, you have to say, hey, Sega's sponsoring this video, especially if you have received free product. So during, like, let's say you don't have to do this, as far as I'm aware, all the time, but whenever you receive free product, or at least be able to use something that is disclosing that you are a part of the NGS creator program, because these are things that the FTC requires. This is not a Sega requirement. This is the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Okay. Anyway, Sega reserves the right to remove you from the program at any time. Basically, if they just be like, hey, you are not meeting the requirements, or hey, you violated the terms of use, or hey, we just don't like you. they can violate you. And honestly, this also means if you've been inactive for 30 consecutive days, you may discontinue your participation in the program by notifying them in writing. Basically, this is a give and take situation. They're not trying to come at you sideways here as well. Right? Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. I apologize. Anyway, you hereby irrevocably permit, authorize, and license Sega to identify you by name, a username, likeness, appearance, and voice, professional and personal biography information. They say all these to cover their own ass, but basically they're going to use you for advertisements for certain things, and you are giving them permission to do so, right? This is something that many content creators are not okay with, right? Are not okay with. And this is something that you need to, before applying, be okay with. Okay? Because you can grant Sega permission to use your content and use your likeness and your appearance and your voice, but you may not be okay with them being like, all right, well, I don't want them to use me in their things, but you just gave them permission to do so. But this is, again, a give and take situation. If you feel like you don't want to, you can talk to them in that case, because it is not like they're going to be unreasonable there. So these are things that you just, understand where the rules are and what you're comfortable with. And this way you are more equipped to be able to handle things when it comes to that in the future. Right. Basically, also, if you're sponsored or anything like that, anybody else with the associated with the NGS Creator Program in exchange for participating in the program and acknowledging you or including your name in any manner in connection with the program. You represent that you were not given any money and anything else of value to Sega, right? Basically, you're not paying to be a part of this is the other thing that's going on here as well, right? You grant them exclusive worldwide perpetual or revocable royalty free right. This is basically another way of saying this, kind of this first thing here, but also that you did not pay them for this and that they can use your content, crop and alter it and revise it and all these different things. So that way they can continue to advertise the game. You are basically advertisement for the game as well. So again, if you are not comfortable with this, do not apply. You understand that all promotion, offers, and products to other services you promote on behalf of Sega are controlled by Sega. So basically, if there's anything that they are giving to you for the sake of creating a video, that is Sega 100% telling you that you should do that, things like that. Again, they're not going to control your content because that's not how this works. But they will use your content, and just understand that. You may have access to Sega materials that are confidential. Basically, you'll sign an NDA for certain things. And this is a very, very big thing, right? You agree that you will not use or disclose to permit the use of any disclosed information and confidential Sega materials to any third party in any matter whatsoever without Sega's prior written consent. Upon Sega's request, you will return to Sega or destroy all Sega materials that you are in possession or control of. These are things that, again, more than likely, a lot of these things are 100%, right? Usual terms of service that you will see in partner programs or anything that requires you to have gained some sort of monetary value or receive items in exchange that would usually be monetary value. So again, keep that in mind. Okay. Anyway, a lot of these you should read on yourself, to be honest with you, because they're kind of important to you if you're going to be a viewer or even a content creator. A lot of the times, the content creators won't change. They're still going to create the same content that they want, but if something does violate the terms of service when it comes to the creator program, it's good to know. It's just good to know. Okay. You agree that any consent that you made for the creator program shall represent your honest opinions and actual experiences. Now, this is something that's here. I think I do quite a lot. This doesn't necessarily exclude people from they only have to talk good things. That does not what that means. What that means is that you can't just be like, okay, I feel this way and that's it. You can't create a fictitious situation and and be like, I feel this way because of fictitious situation, right? No, it has to be an actual experience and your honest opinions on that, right? You can't talk about Sega unless they're truthful and they can be verified. Most of the things that Sega does can be 100% verified, so there should be no reason why anybody gets this. Sometimes misinformation does get out into the world, but it is up to you to be able to be like, hey, okay, I can fix this or I can address this and things like that. Again, don't be an asshole. I think that's the easiest thing. Don't be racist. Don't be harmful to people. I think that's an easy thing. I would hope that people can get into, right? Does not contain text of the same things that we were just talking about before. Does not violate the privacy rights for any other person's business or group. Again, this is 100% important, right? You can't name or depict any real life third party without his, her, or their permission. Again, this is very important here because if, let's say, a content creator goes out and doxes you intentionally, they can be removed from this program. So just keep that in mind. These are things that you should be aware of. But anyway, when we go here, now let's get to the juicy bits, right? This is the actual application program, and it only has YouTube right now. I'm hoping that in the future they basically say, oh, okay, well, we didn't mean for it to only have YouTube there. We then also will allow JP creators to be able to use Nico Nico. They will allow, US and JP content creators to be able to use things like Twitch in their application, because there are a lot of content creators who create the same and quality content on Twitch and not just on YouTube. So just keep that in mind. You need your player name, your player ID, your Twitter account comments to be shown. You're giving them permission here to be able to look into that information. And then you agree and you do your whole thing, right? I'm excited about this because I want to continue to work with Sega or even the new Genesis PSO team, right, in a much more close environment because I love the game. That is something that I want to do. That is why I applied. But for a lot of the other reasons, like maybe you don't want to be used for advertising, maybe you don't want Sega to control your content without your permission, then that is 100% okay. And these are things that you should understand before applying to the program. Okay. Now, a lot of these things could also be used. You could talk to them. You could be like, hey, Sega, you created this video, but I don't feel comfortable with this. They would have to acknowledge that. They'll come back at you. There's a lot of leeway in programs like this to be able to work with them and be like, okay, well, you use this. I don't want you to use this. Can you use something else from this? And things like that, because maybe that's just how it is. Maybe you feel more comfortable sharing something else, but this one thing you're not. That is a conversation that you're then going to have with Sega. And honestly, that is okay. That happens in a lot of partner programs. That happens in a lot of media. And that is just something to be aware of. It's not just you give them all these things. They give you some items and AC in return. It is a give and take situation in a lot of these cases. But they do these things without your permission first and foremost. They don't need it because, obviously you signed that off. So just to be aware of that first. All right. But anyway, guys, thank you guys again for watching. I am excited. I applied for this. I'm very happy that this is a thing. And anyway, I know this is a long video, but it was a lot of important information that I feel like those of you guys who are viewers, or even those of you guys who are content creators or want to be content creators, should 100% understand before you do anything. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.